Okay, I think I'm going. We're going. Good, we're going. Hello, everybody. We are here today to do a hopefully quick fit to read to celebrate my 15th year of starting this YouTube channel. So let's just go ahead and get this started. So I guess quickly get this done. What we got here going off first here is from Image Comics. Going through the free comic book day comics first. But the first one is from Image Comics of the first issue of Clementine from the Walking Dead's video game series. Which I really did like the video game series, even though I only played the first two parts. I still got to play parts 3 and 4, along with the side story. And this comic takes place after the final part, where we see where Clementine is going with her life, of whatever it is she's doing, because I've yet to play those games. But I gotta say, this is a very thick book. Surprised this was a free comic book day issue. This is one of the thicker ones ever they've had. Probably because they have like either the first part or the first full issue of Clementine. The actual first issue should be out by now in some comic shops, but I have yet to find it yet. Going for $15, I believe. So this might just be a part of it. But I do like the whole sort of sketchy art style and such. And I don't know, I'm just liking this. Very little of the dead so far, but the walking part is going. Another free comic book day issue I got is this another issue of this Tresse. Let's see here. So apparently that our hero here is trying to find a missing woman. That because that woman's missing, some forest spirits is going a little wild. Can't wait to finally see that series on Netflix when I get Netflix. But I do like that story about how the whole supernatural stuff and the evil of humans is what causes the supernatural things to go evil. Now here we have a Street Fighter comic here. This is a very interesting one as it follows Blanca. Not one of my favorite characters, Street Fighter, but then again, I have very few Street Fighter characters I do like. Interesting is that this whole issue is actually textless, so it goes by the visuals of the book. And I think it sort of introduces maybe a future fighter on the end, if not, just probably a new character to whoever comic book series that they got going on here. A read I do like. And then I'll move on here to the Doctor Who comic from Titan Comics, which apparently has a new Doctor. I haven't seen any issues of the 13th Doctor yet, but apparently this is a character that appears in a couple of them as one of the new Doctor incarnations that actually is from before all the other Doctors that we've seen. So we just see here the Doctor looking for these little troll-like creatures on Earth and just doing the Doctor thing of winning, mostly by using her mouth and not violence. Now here's one issue that I had trouble finding because apparently it's out of stock at a lot of comic shops. Is the latest Sonic the Hedgehog free comic book day, which half the story, and well, half the issue I should say, is just a recap of the current main story in the comics, whereas the first half here is sort of like a neat little story of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles talking more about the floating island and coming across some evil doings of Dr. Eggman. So I can't really say it's a definite must-read for Sonic fans, but it is probably a very good collector's item for the cute story that's in there of the three heroes teaming up again. Now going on to We Ride Titans 4. Family drama is going really well as the brother and sister who are supposed to be getting together to help each other get on their feet is just being pulled apart as the sister is still going into training more and more of being a mech pilot again, fighting the monsters, and the brother just has nobody to turn to. Gotta say, interesting, a nice little twist in the very end that's got me very interested and wants me to keep reading this series even more. I like this series a lot about the human drama that's going on, and that doesn't really directly involve the mechs, but the mechs do play a part. We have the Monkey Prince issue 5, where he's finally moved on to a new city from Gotham, but the evils that he faced there continue to follow him. His parents move on to work with a new supervillain, as the Monkey Prince here is trying to get accustomed to his new life in this new city, while also facing the real evils of the demons that he has barely seen the surface of in the first 4 issues. We have Cowboy Bebop issue 4, which might just be the last issue of this series, which is too bad. I still haven't seen a Netflix series, but this comic I felt was going pretty good. Felt very much in line with the anime series, where we see Jet, Spike, and Faye just find that their one lead to finding Melville and his quantum vest is now dead. But they learn the secrets of the vest, and that sort of gives them the upper hand of figuring out how to win the day of the bounty. Not that things will always go the way that they hope to, which is very much the Cowboy Bebop style. Art style here is very artistic in a way that interprets the characters and the color and their actions, which is just something that I really did enjoy about this comic series, and I felt that it really worked well with the Cowboy Bebop universe. Just seeing these images and the colors and the shapes, I really do feel that I could hear the music of the original anime in my head. Okay, I forget if I actually went over this issue in the last video, but we have Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where it's just the Power Rangers are Godzilla fights, and then they both get beaten up at the same time. Rita is trying to take Tommy's powers and control him again, and at the end of the day, it's Godzilla and Power Rangers are starting to team up to go against the monsters. But as you see in any Godzilla movies or Power Rangers episodes, there's always more monsters where they come from, so I'm sure we're going to get a bigger monster mash in issue 4. IDW Sonic issue 50 is finally here, and we see the big matchup of Kitsunami and Surge up against Sonic and Tails, while Dr. Starling goes into an amazing mech fight against Dr. Eggman, which I gotta say I felt was the highlight of this issue, as I'm a big mech guy. And Belle, she goes and does her face-to-face confrontation with Dr. Eggman 2, trying to get some closure there of what happened to Mr. Tinker. Artwork is going very strong still, but I felt that the character of Surge is not really much there. I mean, she's supposed to be made to be the equal to Sonic and surpass him, but you'll see that Sonic's had so many adventures in comics, cartoons, and video games that she's really nothing to him. And the only trouble he would have with her is when everybody else who's fighting just so happen to cross paths with them. So I gotta say, I do like what they were doing with some of the new characters in this story and all the build-up, but I feel that unless they do a swap soon, that I think their potential is not going anywhere. Here's issue 12 of the Marvel Alien series. This closes off this story arc on this new planet and the settlers there. As this issue starts off, we see that fighting a xenomorph isn't that bad as long as you're fighting the right one that you can beat. And it's thanks to that we will see, K-Cap, that we see that no matter how many guys with guns you have, it doesn't really help if you're up against something that can easily wipe you out. So this story arc now ends. So it supposedly ends. There's a little bit there that shows that it might continue on, but we'll see. The next issue of the Alien shows that it's going to be showing a flashback of what happened to the characters from the first comics story arc. Now here's an interesting one. It's an independent comic, Red Man. So a neat thing is about this is like the story and art is by Matt Frank. He's a big Godzilla fan who did quite a few of the Godzilla IDW comics. So I don't know how far we'll have to go to till we get to see how this whole world works, but it seems to be like video transmissions from another planet shows that giant monsters are eating other giant monsters, and it's up to another giant monster to keep the peace. So one of those Ultraman clones that goes on here. So the artwork here is very good. Being Matt Frank, he has this nice sort of colorful, little bubbly, cartoony style, but you still see the ferociousness and the monsters when they need to be scary or dangerous. So I gotta say that this is one series I'm excited for. Hopefully it can go for a good while to tell the story that they want to tell. So that's the free comic day issues from this year that I didn't mention earlier, and the books for June. But one thing I forgot to mention to May is the manga I got. Let's see here. We got Kaiju Girl. Let's see here. Caramelis. Always trouble figure out how that's said. But we get a little flashback about her origin, supposedly her egg anyway, and that we figured out the guy who's seen her use her atomic breath is actually turns out he's a lot younger than he's supposed to be, which brings up some romantic complications that I'm not really caring for, since he's supposed to be much younger than this image is supposed to make him look. So I'm not really caring for that factor. So I mean, I really like the series in the first 4 books, but if they're doing something like that with this 5th book that will go on to the 6th, I don't know if I could really support this story much more. But as it shows here on the cover, that we will be, there's another kaiju that appears just briefly on the very end, so we'll probably get a kaiju battle maybe in the next one. But seeing how these stories have been going, maybe they'll work out in a more peaceful way. We'll see. We'll see how issue 6 goes. Oh, now here's something here. Gundam Thunderbolt number 17. Federation is using their new type mobile suits to finally take it off to those rogue. What country are they again? Oh, there's the Alliance. Oh, there's the Nanyang Alliance. So they're using an old Zeon new type mobile suits to go against these new Zeon new type mobile suits that this alliance is using for their grand plan to change the future of humanity. There's a lot of action, beautiful artwork here, and characters that you were beginning to love and feel for in past issues. Well, they get their time to shine before they get snuffed out. Oh, and also Haros. Haros finally appear. Took 17 books, but there's Haros. Oh yeah, there's the money. There's one of the money shots here. There are some beautiful fights and drawn action scenes here. It ends on a happy note, but as Gundam Thunderbolt goes, when you think that things are going quite happy, everybody's crying on the next page for one reason or another. Sticking with Gundam, I got The Men Who Created Gundam, which I think went by a different title before it officially came out. I think like the Man Who Made Gundam or something like that. But this follows the Tomino, the main man who came up with the story and ideas for Gundam, and the various creative team that he recruited or joined him during his initial run of making the original Gundam Mobile Suit series. Now, this is a major exaggeration, but a lot of facts and details are there, and there's quite a few of these pages here in between where they show actual photos of things like the original mobile suit design, or what scripts in the Gundam Bible would be, newspaper clips and such, and descriptions here and stuff. But really, it's just like 500 pages of a Tomino just being a creep, but yet having a beautiful vision of the future of anime and what giant robots can really be if they were thought to be a real thing. So definitely a must-read for any Gundam fan, I must say. Or at least if you're just a fan of the original series. Because this thing is hilarious. I laughed so much about how they depicted stuff and how they made the characters act or look. This thing was a major Gundam joy. And the last book I'll end here is with Star Wars The High Republic, The Edge of Balance, number 2, which, man, this took forever to come out. I mean, God, I think the first one was like about a year ago? Maybe less than a year, but it was still a lot of months. And here we see Lily, her apprentice, and the younglings around still manage to keep the Jedi Temple standing and help the civilians, or the citizens, I should say, as they rebuild after the recent attacks. They get a visitor of another Jedi Master who possibly could be helping them, and even do a quick trip to over Starlight Station before it gets destroyed in the Marvel series. So I'm liking this series. I'm feeling for the characters. I do like Star Wars: The High Republic as a whole so far, even though I've only been reading this book and the Marvel series, but I have been starting to read the IDW series now. So I'm getting a look at this whole area of Star Wars from different perspectives. So that's all the books and comics and stuff I picked up in the last 2 months or so. I'm feeling very happy with a lot of the stuff I've been reading right now. And I'm happy that I'm making this video right now. 15 years of my YouTube channel that's been around. July 7th, back in 2007. And here we are in 2022, where I'm still occasionally maybe think about posting something. But I hope to post more, as I say pretty much every time. But I have been streaming some, not too much more, but some. I try to make sure I turn the stream on when I play a game over on Twitch, and I've been toying the idea of maybe streaming something over on Facebook or whatever other platform which has good traffic and will be welcoming to whatever content I'll be doing. So thank you for watching. 15 years down.